You quote, and have often quoted, what you say is a prediction that white Britons will be a minority in 2063. Are you aware that by the definitions used in that particular report, King Charles is not a white Briton? Do you think he is a white Briton?
Well, many people have different interpretations of that, Nick. I mean, we can split hairs, but I think...
Well, you're not splitting hairs. Do you think the monarch of this country is a white Briton?
Quite clear, and I think...
Well, there you go. This is GB News Originals. I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you think Andrew...
And that is why
King Charles a white
Britain's
Briton?
Membership is growing very fast, and your listeners are dropping equally fast because you don't reflect actually what's happening.
Why don't you answer the question now we've got you on?
You try and whitewash all of the things that are happening.
Is King Charles a white Briton, Rupert?
Change, you peddle DEI, you peddle all of the malign agenda, which British people have got bored of.
Right.
So
they're bored of people ignoring the questions, Mr. Lowe. The reason I ask you, and it's a serious question.
Questions. It is a fact that by 2063, white British people will be a minority on current trends. I don't think anyone disputes that.
What I was putting to you is that the basis of that forecast, which is widely disputed and based on a whole series of assumptions that none of us know whether they'll be true or not, is that you're only called a white Briton if both of your parents were born in this country. So because Prince Philip was born in Greece, King Charles is not, under your definition, treated as a white Briton.
The national monopoly, the BBC, which has become malign in my view, has gone so far left that anyone who speaks common sense appears to be far right in your terms. Well, I'm not far right. I am a normal punter, okay? And I want my country back. I don't want all of the piffle and the rubbish that you lot peddle. I want a country that works, is at peace with itself, and is founded upon the Christian principles which have served us extremely well for many thousands of years.
You're a man, aren't you, in reality, Mr. Lowe? You're a man with money and a grudge and a social media account who airs his prejudices on X and gets hearing because you got the back of Elon Musk.
If Uber Eats, Deliveroo and the rest are found to be employing illegal migrants, they will be fined, prosecuted and even shut down. The farce of young Sudanese illegal migrant men delivering spring rolls and pepperoni pizzas on mopeds in every British suburb will end.
When the political elite stage a public clash on live national radio, the result is rarely about policy and almost always about the fragile art of political survival. Today on Britain Underneath, we are dissecting an extraordinary exchange that took place on BBC Radio 4's Today programme, where Restore Britain's leader Rupert Lowe found himself thoroughly pressed by veteran broadcaster Nick Robinson over demographic claims, identity definitions, and the rather astounding technicality of whether King Charles himself qualifies as a white Briton under his party's own metrics. Before we get into the absolute chaos of this exchange, take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button right now. Subscribing to Britain Underneath genuinely helps this independent channel bring you sharp, unfiltered analysis of the stories shaping our nation. So please join our growing community and let us dive into the madness. The entire exchange began on a tense note, as political broadcasting so often does when controversial figures step into the BBC studios. Rupert Lowe, the Member of Parliament for Great Yarmouth and head of the newly formed Restore Britain movement, appeared on air intending to discuss his party's newly released economic proposals and his recent overtures to Nigel Farage's Reform UK. However, Nick Robinson had quite another destination in mind for the interview. Armed with Restore Britain's own published reports and Mr. Lowe's recent social media posts regarding population trends, Robinson immediately moved to scrutinise the foundational claims being broadcast to the public. The centre of the debate was a dramatic demographic prediction cited repeatedly by Mr. Lowe, which asserts that white Britons will become a minority in the United Kingdom by the year 2063. While such figures are routinely weaponised for maximum political leverage, Robinson chose not to merely debate the numbers, but to pull back the curtain on how those numbers were actually constructed. The underlying report utilised a strict criteria defining a white Briton as an individual whose parents were both born within the United Kingdom. This is where the interview descended into absolute theatre. Robinson posed a direct, straightforward query to the MP, asking whether, under the very logic of Restore Britain's definition, King Charles could be considered a white Briton. Given that the late Prince Philip was born in Greece, the mathematical definition used by Mr. Lowe's cited report logically excludes the sovereign of the realm from being classified as a white Briton. It was a classic journalistic trap, executed with precision, designed to highlight the absurdities that arise when political movements attempt to codify identity into rigid bureaucratic formulas. Instead of answering directly or offering a clear clarification, Mr. Lowe hesitated, remarking that people have various interpretations and suggesting that discussing the king's heritage was merely splitting hairs. But Robinson was relentless, pushing back and asking if the leader of Restore Britain genuinely believed the country's monarch failed his party's benchmark. Mr. Lowe deflected, accusing the BBC of ignoring the real concerns of ordinary citizens and claiming that the listening audience of the Today programme was shrinking precisely because the broadcaster fails to reflect reality. Take a deep breath and stay with us as we unpack this, because the rhetoric only escalated from there. If you are enjoying this deep dive into Westminster's most uncomfortable moments, please take a second to subscribe to Britain Underneath. Your support keeps this channel alive, independent, and dedicated to delivering the political analysis you simply will not find on mainstream news feeds. As the interview continued to spiral, Mr. Lowe launched a broadside against the BBC, accusing the institution of pushing agendas surrounding climate policy, equity and diversity, which he argued the British public has grown weary of hearing. Robinson, noticeably unimpressed, pointed out that the demographic report in question was built on disputed projections and unproven assumptions. Yet Mr. Lowe stood firm, insisting that the general direction of travel regarding national identity was plain for anyone to see, regardless of technical definitions. The conversation then shifted toward Mr. Lowe's commentary on British towns and cities, specifically his past observations comparing traditional British communities to areas with high Muslim populations in places like Manchester. Robinson challenged Mr. Lowe on whether he was implying that British Muslims living in areas such as Manchester's famous Curry Mile were somehow not truly British. Mr. Lowe responded by claiming that many individuals in these communities were not integrating into wider British culture, alleging that entire neighbourhoods were pursuing separate cultural and religious paths rather than adopting established British norms. Naturally, this drew a sharp reaction from civic and community leaders. A spokesperson for the Muslim Council of Britain offered a biting, light-hearted rebuke, questioning whether Mr. Lowe's scepticism of the Curry Mile extended to national culinary staples like chicken tikka masala, while inviting him to share similar critiques of London's diverse cultural enclaves. It highlighted the awkward friction between modern multi-ethnic Britain and political figures who view cultural evolution as a threat rather than a standard feature of a modern democracy. What makes this entire incident so fascinating for anyone watching British politics is what it reveals about the strategy of the Popright movement. Mr. Lowe, who departed Reform UK to establish Restore Britain, relies heavily on online messaging and direct engagement with followers on digital platforms. When brought into the traditional, structured environment of a broadcast radio interview, the high-octane rhetoric that thrives on social media often collides violently with basic scrutiny. Being asked whether the reigning king meets your definition of Britishness might sound like a pedantic trap, but it serves a vital purpose in exposing how slippery political definitions can become when subjected to standard cross-examination. Please stay tuned through to the end of this analysis, because how political leaders handle these moments tells us everything about where the parliamentary battles of tomorrow will be fought. If you appreciate having these events broken down honestly, take a moment right now to subscribe to Britain Underneath. Pleading for your subscription might sound forward, but every single subscriber genuinely helps this channel grow and allows us to keep bringing you this content consistently. The broadcast ended in a tense stalemate, with Robinson famously remarking that Mr. Lowe was behaving like a public figure with deep pockets, social media backing, and a platform designed to air grievances rather than engage in policy details. Mr. Lowe, for his part, took to social media shortly after the broadcast to predict he would not be invited back to the BBC anytime soon, to which Robinson casually replied that he would gladly host him again whenever he was ready to answer direct questions about his own public statements. Ultimately, this fiery clash is indicative of a broader crisis within British political discourse. As traditional parties struggle to retain public confidence, political disruptors are rising to claim the spotlight with sweeping narratives regarding culture, heritage, and economic sovereignty. Yet, as Rupert Lowe discovered live on air, when those narratives are pressed beyond broad slogans, they often struggle to maintain their coherence under basic logic. Whether one views Mr. Lowe as a bold truth-teller standing up to a biased media apparatus, or as a political amateur caught out by elementary questioning, the episode underscores a fundamental truth about modern political commentary. Words matter. Definitions matter. And in a nation with a history as complex as Britain's, trying to reduce national identity to a strict formula will almost always backfire, even when applied to the monarchy itself. Thank you so much for taking the time to stay informed with us today on Britain Underneath. We encourage you to hit that subscribe button before you go, so you never miss an update on the continuous shifts taking place across our political landscape. Make sure to check out our other videos linked on screen right now to explore more deep dives into the hidden currents of British politics, and we look forward to seeing you back here for the very next analysis.